bit more malleable.
How long did it take you from the time? How long did it take you from when you're sitting around thinking about West Coast Sopranos, which became a burden,
Right.
to you had a pilot that you were going? Because releasing what you've written is the hardest thing, right?
As wild as this sounds, it was sort of like, I met with John and Art and really, really, tremendous respect for both those guys, great producers. And, but it was an odd meeting because most of the meetings I had before that, somebody gives you a book and says, this is what we want to do, or life rights or something. So it was such a blank canvas that it was great because I could do anything I wanted, but it was also like, it was a lot of work. So it was one of those things where I didn't think about it for about a month and a half after the meeting. And I got a call from my agent saying, hey, we don't want to piss off Art. What are you going to do here? Yeah. And I was like, all right, let me do some due diligence. Let me do some research and blah, blah, blah. So it was in the process of doing that research that the story I told you about, about that guy.
Yeah.
And it really was in the course of an afternoon that I came up with the idea of the show and what ultimately became the pilot. And then before I pitch something, I do a very thorough document. I do a big pitch document because I have to know how to pitch it, but I also have to know if I can fucking write it.
Are you good in a room?
I'm good in a room, but I'm good in a room because I know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm not one of these guys that can kind of go in and wing it, because I hate the feeling of coming out of a pitch meeting going, now what the fuck do I do? Right? So
how many times that happened?
It's happened to me once. It happened to me at a project at Paramount. I by the time I was ready to write it,
what was it?
It started out as a really cool vampire thing, really dark, really fucking edgy. And then, we brought on the producer. We brought
Buddy
on
Hackett was
Joel,
singing.
Joel Schumacher was going to direct it. And by the time we got to the pitch meeting, there were so many hands all over it. We sold it in the room, and I walked out of the pitch meeting, and I swear to God, I'm getting in my car, and I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing.
Is that show on television now?
No, it was a movie. It was a feature.
All right.
And I wrote the script.
Did it get made?
No, it was a fucking mess because I didn't know what the fuck it was. And I basically gave it to him and said, you know what, I really don't want another step because I didn't know what the fuck it was. And then they gave it to somebody else. But so that was a really bad experience. So I never want to do that again.
Leave nothing to chance.
I leave nothing to chance. So it's like, if it doesn't sell, I know that I knew what it was and I gave it my best shot. If it does, I know that when I sit down at my computer and my board to board it out, I know what the fuck I'm going to write.
But are you one of those guys where if Art Linson goes, why, where's the Black family? Are you malleable enough? I'm being serious. Are you malleable enough? Because they all have ideas. Like, what? Yeah. And then when the sun goes down, there should be some sort of bonfire party. And you just go, yeah, that's what I do. I go, I was just thinking about that on the way over. I said to Matty Boy, what about a bonfire party? It's amazing you brought that up. Guy who's more powerful than me. Do you have that in you? That sheer look someone in the eye and lie just to get it sold in you?
I don't. I should have a little bit more of that.
Well, you're doing okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I was
maybe not.
I was lucky.
You did it once with a vampire movie.
I was lucky because I think Art and John came to me with and not really knowing what to expect, so that when I came back to them with this very detailed idea, characters, world, Art's. I think Art's comment was, this is inspired. I think.
Yeah, and be honest. How much of you wanted to impress these guys?
Absolutely.
They gave you the keys to something.
Yeah.
And you don't want to come in. You want to go. You get. That's cool, bro. Yeah. I dig it. Yeah.
Once I'm in it, once I'm writing it, I'm not really good with feedback and criticism. I
don't think you should be. The editorial you. The editorial we, man. The editorial you. I don't think you should be.
Right.
Do you? Do you think that could ever work once you're in the mix, in the mire?
Here's the only feedback that I've found useful. I mean, there's
too long.
Too long, yes. Funnier.
This is kind of heavy in my hands, dude. That's what I got. That's my big feedback.
I stopped reading at 110.
Yeah, it's a little heavy, bro.
I have a really fucked up, I have a really absurd sense of violence, and to me and I've talked about this. It's sort of like, because I don't live in those worlds, so for me, I'm sort of like, it's like writing about wizards and fairies when I'm writing about all that crazy violence and shit. So I have no censor sometimes in terms of what people actually want to see and what they don't want to see. So I struggled with that early on, like, and I tell the story, I've told it 1,000 times already, but there was that scene in the first season where they're cutting the balls off the clown that raped the kid, right? And I wanted to see the fucking sickles, like, I wanted to see the fucking balls drop to the ground. I was like, that's the fucking money shot. That's the payday,
Yeah.
And Landgraf was like, John just had this conversation. He's like, and finally it was just sort of like, dude, people don't want to see the fucking balls of a clown hit the ground. You know what I mean?
But I'm with you.
I know. But
Matty Boy's like, wait a minute, you just ruined this kid's hopes and dreams.
But and the truth is, he's been in the game long enough to know when people are turning away for the right reasons and when people are turning away for the wrong
That's
reasons.
the feedback that you're okay with.
That's the feedback that I'll
over
go
the line,
all right,
not over the
I'll
line.
go okay, And then what I've learned, and as we do on the show, what's become fascinating to me is the process, and I'll play with this in post, but the process of, like, for instance, when we're burning the tattoo off the guy's back, right? Yeah. It's one thing to see the blowtorch, take out the prosthetics and shit like that, but it's much more horrific watching it off the faces of the other guys. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So to me, it's sort of like, oh, that's the money, and
the human condition.
The human condition.
Like
when we burned Tig's daughter this season, right? It's like, we had.
I got a TiVo, bro. Don't ruin it for me.
I'm sorry.
No. You must get that a lot, I'm sure.
Yeah, or the guy, or my British fans like, fuck you, fuck you.
It just got here.
It just got here. But it's like we had one shot where we had the stunt girl on fire screaming and blah blah blah, but it literally was like 4 or 5 frames, because to me, I'd rather spend the camera time on Tig, seeing it through his eyes, which is just much more horrific, and and the image then is burned without the audience going, I don't want to look at that. You know what I mean? Then they're riveted to go, how is that guy responding to it? So it's like, that's the shit you learn as you go on and understand, the process of how people watch TV and how to react.
The pilot script, give me a number. How long did it take, pen to paper, the first time when your agent called you and said they're waiting for something,
right, before
you went in and let go of the pilot and handed it to somebody?
Not long. I probably did it, 4 or 5 weeks. It was a weird time because it was during the writer's strike. Hi, Katie Lou.
It's hard enough getting to the post office. There's traffic, parking issues, limited hours, snow. Oh my God, are you guys kidding me with the snow? You can't even get to the post office with that snow. You don't have to go to the post office because you have Stamps.com. With Stamps.com, everything you would do at the post office, you can do right from your desk right now. You don't need the post office, you guys. I've been telling you about this for so long for a reason. It's really cool. Buy and print official U.S. postage for any letter, any package using your computer and printer. You don't have to go anyplace. You're the man. You do it. You work for no one. You answer to no one. Stamps.com will send you a digital scale that calculates the exact amount of postage you need for any class of mail. Stamps.com. You never have to deal with weather ever again. I use Stamps.com. Everybody at Fake Mustache Studios uses Stamps.com. You should too. Check this out. Use my last name, Mohr. M-O-H-R for this special offer. $110 bonus offer that includes the digital scale for free and up to $55 free postage. That is more letters than you could possibly send. I don't think you have $55 of postage that you need to send, but if you do, Stamps.com has you covered. Hey, if you're a small business owner, this is the greatest thing in the world. You get to create your own postage. Weigh it, stamp it, print it with Stamps.com. Go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, type in Mohr, M-O-H-R, Stamps.com, enter Mohr. You've been hearing me talk about it. Just try it and do it. I'm telling you guys, this is the best. Stamps.com, M-O-H-R. Have you ever done community theater?
I have.
Really?
Yeah. in
So
New
you
Jersey.
started as an actor?
Started as an actor.
What was the play you did for community theater? And by the way, we should tell the listeners there's a hiccup because there was an earthquake.
The wife came home.
That's an earthquake, bro.
Yeah, that's it.
That's an earth shaker right there.
Things stop when the wife comes home.
You bet your ass it
Fuck
does.
yeah.
That's you've done well, my friend.
I do.
What's your next wish, you jerk?
I know.
Greatest show on TV, a right house, great kids,
Good kids.
and then she walks in.
And she walks in.
Sometimes the sun is eclipsed by the moon. I don't see you when she walks in this room.
That's why I like her, because keeps the focus off me.
So what was the play you did? Community.
I did. It was the
Rahway.
Celebration Playhouse
Rahway Prison Playhouse.
in Cranford.
I was a bottom.
It was. It was the man who hurt the boy. It was
Hurt and then parentheses helped.
helped become a man.
We needed her to come in here.
I know.
We were all up in our own heads about
I
the
know,
fucking process.
And now
Hart Linson and
now it's
Mamet.
real.
How much time was it?
Yeah.
And the whole thing. So 5 weeks to write the pilot. And what
5
was your
weeks.
community theater? This is better.
Celebration Playhouse, Beauty and the Beast.
Were you the candelabra?
I was.
Jerry Orbach played it in the movie.
Yeah, I was. No, this was not the musical version. This was. I think I was.
Were you the Beast?
I think I was the Beast a couple times, and
What
then
do
I
you
was
think?
the boy.
How do you
Yeah.
forget something like that?
I don't know. We changed a lot because there's a big turnover in community theater in Cranford, New Jersey. Go figure.
People are going to think we got high. You're so serious. I know you've heard about LegalZoom.com, but now you're hearing it from me. You have to check out LegalZoom.com. Look, long ago on this podcast, Finesse Mitchell came in here and he actually said he got a divorce through LegalZoom.com. He said it was the easiest thing that ever happened to him. You don't believe me? Look at the game tape. You've been waiting for the perfect time to start your dream business? It's now. Incorporate your business or form an LLC at LegalZoom.com starting at $99. You're going to start a business for $99? That's insane. If you have a family, guess what? Make sure they're protected. You can protect your family and assets with a LegalZoom will for just $69. For $69, you get everybody not fighting over your things after you die. It's all taken care of because of LegalZoom.com. Check it out. LegalZoom's online process guides you step by step. You get total customer support. It can't get any easier, you guys. They even have attorney help if you need it through their legal plans, available in most states. Look, start your business. Protect your family today. LegalZoom.com. What are you going to give all your money to some creepy lawyer? Some guy that's going to drain you like a vampire? No way. Not the Warriors. You're better than that. You're smarter than that. You deserve better. LegalZoom.com. Special discount from listening to this podcast. Make sure you enter MOHR in the referral box at checkout for more savings. LegalZoom.com is not a law firm. You can get self-help services at your specific direction, or you can speak with a legal plan attorney to get your questions answered and get ongoing advice. LegalZoom.com. In the referral box, you type in more, MOHR. Maybe you could be like Finesse Mitchell. Get yourself that divorce. They'll do it. He did it. You do it too. LegalZoom.com. I'll put my name on that. So you were in
5
Beauty and
weeks.
the Beast. Who
I
cares
was.
about that shit?
Okay, we're not. Okay,
Now all
we're
your
done.
diehards are going to
Yeah.
go, what the fuck happened? You guys went off the rails, man. I was getting the inside scoop of SOA. You're very good on the Twitter answering fan tweets.
Isn't that fun? That's so much fun, man. So much
I guess
fun.
it's fun for you.
It is.
But when you're a comic, people feel the need to tell you. I already know how much I think I might suck.
Right,
I don't really need outside.
Oh yeah, right, yeah, yeah. For the most part, I tend to avoid that, but every once in a while, I just can't help it. You know?
Yeah, people always go, "Don't get trolled, bro," and you're like, "Do you know how much fun I'm having?
I know,
ripping this person an asshole." So you were in Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, I was.
You were Vincent.
No, it was a children's version, so it was pretty simple.
Which one am I thinking of?
It's the original story of Beauty and the Beast, not the TV show with Ron Perlman.
That's what I was thinking of.
I just remember
Ron
Beauty and the
Perlman looks a
Beast.
little like my manager, Barry Katz, who looks a little like Dirk Nowitzki.
I think isn't that Ron's manager as well?
Yeah,
No?
he's everybody's manager. He's the people's
He's
manager.
the people's.
You get him in the people's court when you go to manager court. Yeah, people. It's gonna be hard to convince people.
It started out as a really cool vampire thing, really dark, really fucking edgy. And then, we brought on the producer. We brought
Buddy
on
Hackett was
Joel,
singing.
Joel Schumacher was going to direct it. And by the time we got to the pitch meeting, there were so many hands all over it. We sold it in the room, and I walked out of the pitch meeting, and I swear to God, I'm getting in my car, and I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing.
Is that show on television now?
No, great producers. And but it was an odd meeting because most of the meetings I had before that, somebody gives you a book and says, this is what we want to do, or life rights or something. So it was such a blank canvas that it was great because I could do anything I wanted, but it was also like it was a lot of work. So it was one of those things where I didn't think about it for about a month and a half after the meeting, and I got a call from my agent saying, hey, we don't want to piss off Art. What are you going to do here?
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, let me do some due diligence. Let me do some research and blah, blah, blah. So it was in the process of doing that research that the story I told you about, about that guy.
Yeah.
And it really was in the course of an afternoon that I came up with the idea of the show and what ultimately became the pilot. And then before I pitch something, I do a very thorough document. I do a big pitch document because I have to know how to pitch it, but I also have to know if I can fucking write it.
Are you good in a room?
I'm good in a room, but I'm good in a room because I know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm not one of these guys that can kind of go in and wing it, because I hate the feeling of coming out of a pitch meeting going, now what the fuck do I do? Right? So
how many times that happened?
It's happened to me once. It happened to me at a project at Paramount. I by the time I was ready to write it, it was more malleable.
How long did it take you how long did it take you from when you're sitting around thinking about West Coast Sopranos, which became a burden,
right,
to you had a pilot that you were going, because releasing what you've written is the hardest thing, right?
As wild as this sounds, it was sort of like, I met with John and Art and really, tremendous respect for both those guys,